Sri Gurubhyo Namaga children, you are welcome for online class Ekalaiva. 11th standard children, I hope you are hale and healthy, and we have completed first unit and this is our second unit. We are going to learn today poem. Before starting the class, I want to ask some questions. How many of you are interested in sports? Yeah, so our second unit is related to sports. So what is a sports and what a person must have the mindset of in a sports or in a game who is participating? They must have a thought that only participating and not running behind the praise. But usually any sportsman is there and his goal will be just getting or achieving a praise. So here in this poem also the same, and we are going to see there is a spectator and as well as a participator. So a sports personality who is participating is there, and the same time we have a person who is just watching them. So as children, I want to ask you a thing. You are interested in participating or as a spectator? You want to be a good sports star or a spectator? So it is a question before you. So even this poem just gives the same thought. You want to be a great personality in sports or you want to be a silent observer, a spectator? Yeah, I hear some answers that you want to be a good boxer. Yes, somebody is saying that you want to be an athlete, and somebody is saying that I want to be a cricketer. Yes, and somebody is saying I am bored with all, I will be watching all the sports. Yeah, you want to be a silent spectator, somebody saying that. So we can see the poem confession. So what do you mean by confession, children? Where you will be asking confession? Mostly in the church. So or when you done something wrong, you will be asking confession. So confession means asking sorry to somebody. The same way the poem topic also starts with, we will see what it is. Okay, confession of a born spectator. Who is a spectator who watches something? And here the poet says, writes the poem, confession of a born spectator. So confession of a born spectator. So that is a poem and it is written by Ogden Nash. So Ogden Nash had written a poem, a poet, and he is just giving you a confession of a born spectator. What is confession? Confession means just getting or asking sorry to somebody when you making something or made a mistake. So that is called as confession. And here again it is spectator. It is a spectator. Spectator is a person who watches, silently observes what others are doing, or a person who watches the game or sports in the paying some amount and just watching and seeing how they are playing, how they are doing. So that is called a spectator. Any person who watches the game or sports is known as spectator. And here the poet is saying that he want to be a spectator, and let us see how born sports stars are there and how born spectators are there. So he is going to explain those things in this poem and we are going to see. So we will see about the author first. Yeah, so you can see what it is. Yeah, so confession of a born spectator, it is a part 1 we are going to see. You can see the legs, and that legs is nothing but the athlete who is running. Yeah, about the author, we are going to know about the author. Frederick Ogden Nash was born on May 19, 1970. So August 19, 1902, he was born on August 19, 1902. He was born on August 19, 1902 and died on May 19, 1971. So he was living the age you can calculate. He is 69 years old when he was dying. He lived 69 years and was an American poet, and well known for his light verse. He had written light verses, and that was well known in America, and not only in America, and all over the world, of which he wrote over 500 pieces. So, light verses he had wrote, and not one or two, he wrote 500 verses. He wrote 500 pieces like that, with this unconventional rhyming scheme. You know that there is a conventional rhyming scheme and unconventional rhyming scheme. He is popular for unconventional rhyming schemes. He was declared the country's best known producer of humorous poet. He was known as a best known person in his country for his humorous poet. His light verse even earned him a place on a postage stamp. So, here his light verse even earned him. So, the light verse of him even earned a postage stamp. So, his stamp, you know that if any personality, great personality is there, their stamp will be issued. So, here this poet's stamp also was issued, and it was proclaimed and declared by the government. The reason is he was so good in his lively light verses, so he was very famous and popular, and so they have just given a stamp, postage stamp on him. Yeah, the poet of this poem is an admirer of sportsmen and athletes. He explains the zealous attitude towards their work and appreciates them getting medals in their hands. The poet also says that athletes take a lot of trial to achieve the desired result. The poet wishes to be one too. So, here the poet of this poem is admirer of a sportsman. So, here he was a good admirer of the sports and sportsmen, and he used to go and observe all the sports, but he will be a spectator, not a participator. So, that only had been explained. And athletes, he was very much interested on sportsmen and as well as the athletes. He explains the zealous attitude towards their work and appreciates them getting medals in their hands. The poet always also says that the athletes take a lot of trial to achieve and desired results. The poet wishes to be one too. So, he also says that he also want to be like a poet. Poet also want to be not only to be a spectator, he also want to be a participator like the poet, other sports personality, because they play games and running race and other things, they will be participating and they will be aiming for that, and they will be working for that, and they will be achieving it. Even the poet's ego tells that he want to be one like that, but he was a good spectator than a participator. In this poem, the poet talks about how people chose to opt for different sports in their lives or decides to become athletes. At the same time, he confesses that he is glad that he is neither a sportsman nor an athlete, but being himself. So, here the poet feels very happy that he himself as a spectator, not like the sports personality and athletes. So, he feels very happy to be like a ordinary human being as a spectator and watching them playing and running like that, others doing, and he will be just seeing and appreciating him. That was his mind, and he was just telling that. So, I think it is very clear to you. The poet is always ready to share a drink or a meal with the athlete. In fact, he is just about ready to do anything but compete with them. He also rushes over the fact that zealous athletes play rough games without even caring for each other fielding. So, here he says that he is ready to have a tea or coffee with share a tea or coffee with the sports athlete and sportsman and athlete, and he is ready to talk with them, he is ready to do anything except competing with them, because he feels that those people, those who are participating in sports and athletes, they will not have sharing mind with others. They will be always won the praise by themselves and they will not feel the others' feelings. You just think over, if a person wins a game, how his mentality will be? He will be very happy and he will be very energetic and he will be thinking and feeling very happy, but he is not able to analyze a person who loses the game. So, here the poet does not want like him, only thinking selfishly about themselves and not even understanding the feeling of others. You just think over, a boxer is in the ring and just fighting, and you know that he is hitting the other person, and if he dies also it is not a problem, but he just wants the praise. His aim is only to win the praise and the humanity is not there. There is no sharing feeling here and he is not caring about the next person who is in the ring, and he wants a praise, so he hits and makes him knock down. So, here he wins only when he is knocked down. So, here that feeling is not there for him. So, he is not feeling guilty that his own fellow men was just lying, because of that he is getting a praise. So, such thought was not wanted by the poet. He says that when somebody is not caring and sharing and not feeling for others, it is not fair enough. Only you are interested in sports and your goal and aim, and you are just hitting others and getting a praise, or you just making others to lose the game and you are just gaining. So, you are not even thinking of the fellow men feeling. So, he does not want to be a sports personality or an athlete or whatever it is for this reason, and he want to be a spectator, always praising others, and he want, sometimes his ego will tell that he want to be a person to get a praise, but it is not like that. So, here he feels that he want to be only a spectator. He says that he will be dine with a person, he will be just sharing a cup of coffee or even play or whatever it is, but he will not go for competition, compete with others in the sports what they are doing, except that he can do other things. Even he is ready to buy a ticket and go and watch as a spectator his game and to praise him. So, that is also he is ready to do, but he do not want to compete. So, it is very clear, children. We will move to the poem. The poet says he derives satisfaction but does not wish to exchange places with them, as wisdom wins over ego. He also says the players, while playing rough and noisy games, they get hurt or injured, such as snapping their knees and cracking their wrists. When the players get injured, the officials who watch them play demand for doctors to treat the injured player. So, here it is clear. So, he is just explaining you that the boxer he hits in the ring and somebody is calling to help, and even he is not feeling for his fellow man and he is ready to get a praise, and he was giving his photo as he won the game. So, that is not really a human spirit. So, here he says that, the poet says that. The poet feels thankful that he is not playing, otherwise he too may hurt himself. The poet wishes to have a drink or a meal with the players as a spectator. He does not want to compete with them as a sports star. He concludes the poem saying he is neither a sportsman nor an athlete. So, it is very clear, children. Okay. So, we will go for the poem. So, you can see that how the people are having a sports. One infant grows up and becomes a jockey, another plays basketball or hockey. This one the praise ring hates to enter, that one becomes a tackle or center. I am just glad as glad can be that I am not them, that they are not me. So, it is very clear, children, it is very clear to you? Yes. Okay. So, one infant grows up and become a jockey. What is it? What is a jockey? What is a jockey, children? What is a jockey? Yeah. Yeah, here it is horse rider. Horse rider is called as jockey, who sits on the horse and rides, and it is a game. When you just won, and the person who is sitting in the horse ride, and if you are going in the horse ride and a horse race, the person who is sitting on the horse is called as a rider and horse rider, and they are specially called as jockey. So here the poet says, one infant grows up and becomes a jockey. So here one infant, so many children are born in this world, and one become a jockey, and the other become a hockey player, the other become a basketball player, and so many cricket and etc., etc., etc. So he says one infant grows, when he born, one infant grows up because it has an interest to become a rider and becomes a jockey. So he becomes a horse rider. And another plays basketball or hockey. So another plays what? Basketball or hockey. And this one, the praise ring heads to enter, that one becomes a tackle or center. I am just glad, as glad can be, that I am not them, that they are not me. So here what the poet says is, one becomes a jockey, the other one becomes a basketball player, the other become a hockey player, and this one, the praise ring. What do you mean by praise ring, children? What do you mean by praise ring? What is a praise ring? See, a boxer will be in the ring. Some games, all wrestling match and boxing, that all will be in the, so boxing, in boxing or wrestling match, you will be having a ring. So one hates to enter that ring because they are frightened, they will be hurt. So they are not ready to go. So they hate. Others were eating the other. So they were not liking that game. So they hate that game and they will not enter. But that one becomes a tackle center for the other one. So one boxer or a wrestler, it is the place where he is able to tackle or to be a center, and he was able to do that. And I am just glad. So here the poet, first 4 lines is talking about other sports personality, and the last 2 lines in this stanza is talking about the poet. The poet says, one infant grows and becomes a jockey, another plays basketball or a hockey, become a hockey player or a basketball player. This one the praise, this one praise ring hates to enter. So one is a praise ring. A praise ring means if in the ring you will be just fighting, and for that a praise is given. So that is nothing but boxing or wrestling match where one enjoys that, one hates that. So one hates that, but for one it is a tackle place. He is a good boxer or he is a good wrestler. So he become a best person in the ring and get the praise. So that is called as a praise ring. So here that one becomes a tackle or a center. So it is very clear, children, for you. Okay. So this 4 lines is talking about other personality, sports and other personality. And the last 2 lines is talking about I am just glad, as glad can be, that I am not them, that they are not me. So here he says they are sports personalities and they are athletes and they are different. I am different because they are participating in the game. I am watching the game. So the poet says that he is watching the game. So he says that I am just, so I am just glad. Glad means happy. Why he is happy? Why he is happy, children? Because he is not participating in the game. He is just observing, watching. So he is saying that I am just glad as can be. So I am happy that I am myself, and because I am a spectator, not a participator in the games or sports. Then he says that I am not them, that they are not me. So I am not them. So I am not them means I am a spectator and they are not spectator, they are sports personalities. It is very clear, children. You understand these 5 lines? 6 lines. First 4 lines tells about the other sports persons, the last 2 lines tells about him. So, he feels very happy that he is not a sports personality and they also not, they are not me. So, I am not them. So, he says that sports personality is not the spectator and spectator is not the sports personality. So, it is very clear to you that I am not them, that they are not me. See, I am not you and they are not me. So, it is very clear to you. Okay, we will go to the next stanza. Okay. With all my art, I do admire athletes who sweat for fun or hire, who takes the field in gaudy pomp and maim each other as they roam. My limb and bashful spirit feeds on other people's heroic deeds. So, here he says that okay. So, with all my art I do admire. So, now here again the first line talks about the poet. The poet admires by seeing the others. With all my heart I do admire athletes who sweat for fun or hire. So, athletes, you know who is the athletes who run in the tracks, running race. They will be 100 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters running and they will be getting the praise. So, here they are called as athletes and who sweat, they sweat for fun and hire. So, what is this hire and fun? Fun means they are interested in running, so they will be running a race. So, that is for fun, for enjoyment they will be doing. Hiring means when you going for national level, after national level you will be going for international level, Olympic like that. When you are going like that, some people will be sponsoring you. So, some people will be sponsoring the athlete. So, they have been given money, extra money by those people and they hire, they will be hiring. So, for that purpose, for to get that money, to get their name and fame, they will be running. So, that is hired, they were hired and they were fun means when they are not interested for hire, then they will be just going for the running race. So, for fun or hire, who take the field in gaudy pomp, they will be just making a gaudy pomp, they want to be a famous personality who take the field. Field means running race as their field they are taking, or as a hockey player, as a cricket player or whatever it is. So, here field in gaudy pomp means they will be just one, they want to win and mime each other as they roam. So, when they get famous and they get prize, they will be very proud in the stage and they will be just feeling that. My limbs, so here this 4 lines is talking about the sports personality. When they get praise, they will be very fame and they will be feeling very happy and they will be just enjoying the moment. But here the poet says, my limb and bashful spirit. My limb means limb, you are running for that your limbs must be very strong. So, he says that it is not that much strong for me. And he says that bashful means shy. I am having a shy spirit feeds. So, I have been brought up from the young age as a shy person. So, I am not able to get that spirit of running. So, I am not bold enough to be a athlete. And on other people's heroic deed, but I am very happy that I am just praising others' heroic deed when others do. So, only very few people will be having that mindset. What he is saying is that the heroic deed, some will not be praising, they will feel jealous, but the poet has a very good mindset that he will be just having a heroic mind, just praising the others. So, that only children, you understood the second stanza. Now her A runs 90 yards. So, A runs 90 yards. So, here he is. So, A is just running a athlete, running a 90 yards to score. He is ready to score 90 yards and B knocks. B is a boxer. boxer and knocks the champion to the floor. So, you know a boxer must hit the other person and you have to make the person fall down. They will be counting 10 to 1 backward, and if he is getting, then he will be missing the praise. If he is not getting, he will be just winning the praise. So, he is hitting others and getting a praise. So, B knocks the champion to the floor and cracking vertebrae and spine. So, he is cracking the other person's vertebrae and spine. Lashes his head across the line. So, lashes his head across the line. So, when a horse rider is there, he will be giving one lash to the horse and he will be just, the horse will be on the line, he will be getting the first praise. You would think my ego, it would please to swap position with one of these. So, here he says, he talks about 3 personality. First one is athlete, he runs 90 yards, and the other one is boxer, he just hits and cracks the vertebrae of the opposite and the spine of the opposite person, and when he gives one lash to the horse rider is just getting the praise. It's talking about those rider and a boxer and an athlete, and he says that you would think my ego. So, the poet here in this line is talking about, the poet is talking about his ego. So, he is also as the ego, it would please to swap position, to get or grab the position of those 3 with one of these, any one of the thing he will be just finishing, and so he is telling that he want to be the person, but he does not want to do that. So, here jockey means horse rider, enclosed area in a boxing match, that is praise ring, tackle means approach, gaudy pomp means showy dress. If you win a praise, you will be just getting a gaudy pomp means showy dress, you will be addressed, you will be given a new dress and you will be exposed to anybody. Mime means injure, when a boxer must injure other one to get a praise. Raw means play in a rough and noisy way. Limbs means weak, shy. Lashes means beat with a whip. Stead means a large strong horse. Swap means exchange. So, you want to exchange of any of the 3, but he is not interested. So, here we having parts of speech. Simile, I am just glad as glad can be. So, here it is a simile, that I am not them, that they are not me is a metaphor. Athletes who sweat for fun or ire is alliteration. So, here you can say see that athletes sweat for fun or ire, so it is an alliteration. So, here you have this all rhyming words, jockey, hockey, and then enter, center, be, me, this all rhyming words, and you see A, B, and C is the rhyming scheme. So, you can understand the rhyming scheme also. So, one infant rhyming scheme, that is A, B, and C, that is your rhyming scheme. You can see that A, B, and C. Okay, children. So, we understood the poem, the first part is over. We will continue and see you in the next class, children. Thank you until then.